When I got into music hall, it was almost on its sort of last legs. It was really dying, and so I managed to tour the country 2 or 3 times over. This is England, and get a wonderful education into the sort of into the history of it. But it had already changed, you know.
But you did that when you were a kid, a child.
From about 12 till I was about 18. Yeah.
When was Educating Archie?
When I was 13. That was a radio show.
13.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a daunting number. What did you play in Educating Archie?
I didn't. Well, actually, I played Archie's. I mean, all I did was come on and sing one solo song each week. And if I was lucky, they gave me a few lines to say, which I relished. But I was supposedly Archie Andrews' girlfriend next door, you know, that kind of thing.
Who was Archie Andrews?
He was actually a wooden dummy. I hate you had to ask, André.
Right, I had to ask. Julie, when did you first realize you could sing? I mean, more than a nice child.
My stepfather was a fine tenor, and it was in music hall with my mother. And my stepfather began to give me singing lessons. Now, there was an awful lot of publicity and hype that my voice had been discovered in the air raid shelters and that I sang for people during the air raids and all this kind of thing. And that is actually true. I did do that. But actually, I think I started to take lessons from my stepfather, and to his enormous surprise, he discovered that I had an adult larynx at a very young age. I mean, 7 or 8 years old, and that it was like a 4-octave range, and I could do anything.
4 octaves?
Yes, it was a 4-octave range.
Good
I
God.
could hit, wait a minute, a C below a middle C to a C above top C I could do in those days.
Where did you get your diction from? Because I swear, no one's diction in any field of singing that I can think of can even come close to yours. I mean, one can understand every syllable from the second balcony. I don't understand how you
I
learned
think that was my singing teacher. She said,
Really?
one of the greatest things she ever really told me in terms of singing was that hang on to your words because your voice will follow, and finish your words and make your consonants sharp and hard, and your vowels, and follow through with your vowels. I mean, she really drilled it into me.
You said before, just now, that you were always too controlled. That is if you like, a popular image of you, perpetrated by Mary Poppins and Sound of Music, that I, because I've had the pleasure of knowing you personally, have never seen.
No.
I mean, I don't see where you are all that starched and prim.
I guess, I don't know if I've just embraced the image because other people have, or whether I think I recognize in myself that there's a certain crisp quality that comes through.
Yes, but you had a bumper sticker on your car that said Mary Poppins is a junkie.
Yes, I loved it, yeah.
Can you actually identify with some of what purports to be pop music now?
If you're asking me, only really because my kids do. I sort of pick up on a few things. I can't identify with it. I sort of vaguely know what's about.
But can
I'm
you
very
tell?
old-fashioned.
I mean, if you turn the car radio on, and the kind of bleating starts, can you tell?
We know where you stand, that's
Yes.
for sure.
I mean, can you tell what? Can you say, "Oh yes, those are the running sores"?
No,
I mean, do you
no.
know? No, I'm sorry. I mean, can you tell who's doing it?
No.
Can you understand the lyrics?
No, I'm terribly pleased when I can. I mean, it's certainly for my kids, it really puts me in great with them when I can say, that's Cyndi Lauper, or that's, Madonna. But I so seldom can do it. I sort of stopped at the Beatles, and that was only because
Yes.
we had children that knew the Beatles,
Yes, I stopped at the Beatles, whom I admired boundlessly and still do. But you see, there's
I
something that.
didn't then, but I do now.
Yeah.
Did you then?
No.
Ah!
No, but I do now. I tell you something, though, that suddenly occurs to me, is that up until and including the Beatles, a songwriter's raison d'etre was to write something that as many people as possible would then subsequently sing. And now, all the kids are performers themselves, and they write a song for themselves to sing, and nobody touches it.
But also, it's only for 11 or 13-year-olds, isn't it? Always.
That's the
it's
adult
not,
stuff, yes.
Yeah.
But do you think that, you see, when, all right, you were in Fair Lady and Camelot, and those songs went rocketing around.
And had great lyrics, and they had inner rhymes, and they really actually rhymed. The interesting thing is that
in terms of
I don't know
films.
about your kids, but our kids, for the few performers that do record an old, let's say Willie Nelson, for instance, does. I can't think of something. What'll I do? Or
He's the one with the beard?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, but it's a joy, and people buy it and are thrilled to discover an old song, and they say, "Oh, it's a wonderful new song." And I'll say to my daughters, "No, that's quite an old one, my love. It comes from way back." And they'll say to me, "How do you know this?" in a big put down. And I'll say, "Because it was written long before you were born."
When you started to sing, you were vaguely how old?
About 7 or 8.
And you were a big hit singing by the time you were, what, 11, 12?
12, yeah.
All right. Now, this is a naive question. Most women or men who sing that kind of well, that precociously, don't particularly want to add another talent to it. It wouldn't occur to them that they would need to add acting. Do you see what I mean? I mean, they're a singer. This is it. I'm this singing person. What made you suddenly decide that quite independent of singing, that you also had to be an actress?
I suppose perhaps circumstances that I needed for the field that I finally found, for the stream that I finally found myself in. I needed the acting.
Well, did you want to be a great actress? Did you get bitten by that?
I think part of me always wanted to be sort of legitimate. I always felt like I was sort of on the wrong side of the tracks. I was in music hall, and I would love to have. I always felt that people knew something that I didn't, either in the legitimate music field or in the theatre, and I just wanted to know it. I wanted to embrace it.
Did you go to RADA?
No, nothing like that. I never had any formal training. It really, what my life seems to consist of enormous, very, very fortunate leaps, and then an enormous scrambling on my part to understand it and comprehend it and know what it was I had done.
You see, what I'm trying to get at in a very circuitous and probably not very deft way is you've had a career which is the fulfillment of a fantasy for almost any young performer.
Sure.
Is it actually the career that was your private fantasy when you were beginning? I mean, is this what you wanted to do, or did you think maybe it would veer off?
Well, they do say beware of what you really wish for, because you're going to get it. And I suppose I only know that when I was sort of 9, 10, and 11 and dreaming, that I wanted to be very, very good at what I did. I didn't want to do it shoddily or badly. I just knew I wanted to be very good. And I didn't mind what it was, but I think somewhere inside of all that, I must have had some idea. The thing that turns me on is being able to do as much that is as varied as possible.
Well, I think all three of us do, probably, in the eyes of a lot of people, too many different things. But on the other hand...
it's a very interesting discussion, actually. How do you know when you are genuinely stretching your boundaries, and how do you know when you have overstepped them? And I've been trying to fight that one out all my life.
Only by overstepping.
I guess, yeah.
Yes. Did you used to like touring?
No, I hated it.
Really?
Yeah, because I had this tremendous need to be home. I had some kind of separation anxiety about leaving my family. And so I would travel literally anything from 24 hours just to be home 12, and then go back up to Edinburgh or something like that,
But, so you always wanted to be home.
Mm.
Do you ever turn things down because, on reflection, it would be easier not to do this next thing, but just to stay home?
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Mm.
Does it matter which part
That's
of the world
based
that's...
No, it's sort of based on, too, what the family's up to and how the kids are managing, and if they're secure. Usually, if the family's very secure, I feel much better about traveling.
Yes,
I think we'd travel much more if we hadn't taken on a whole new family. One whole generation has grown up, and now we have another one. So,
but there is a point in every performer's life where I think we're on the way to the airport. You say, "Why am I doing this?"
Of course,
Sure. As the house disappears and back.
And was it the right choice?
Interestingly, though, we kind of had the best of two worlds with that. If we're usually going to the airport, it's because we're going back to the home in Switzerland. So we don't usually say, "Why am I doing this?" We know damn well what we're doing it.
Well, it sounds happy all around. I'm glad you do it on both continents, both privately and professionally.
Well, it's we're very blessed at being able to do it that way. I mean, it's really wonderful.
Well, so is everybody that sees your work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, André.